In this example, I will dealing with code components. In new version of Framer, Playground, and there's a lot of examples how to make our components using real codes. It means you can use real React codes and real JavaScript, real animation codes that will be imported or exported to real services. So it's very useful if you can make this one. There's a lot of examples, but this is for only animation. There's not that many how to make appearance that I want to make, like this graphic editor. In this part, if you know basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, it could be easier because React is just almost the same property names of CSS. You can add codes to here from CSS property names. There's a lot of things in here. You should check this paper made by Kohn. Yeah, in this part, the left part is original CSS things. It changed it like this in React components. You should remove this dash, and the next character should be uppercase, like this one, or like this one. There's two dash, and there's two uppercases. This is the sample code component that we'll make now. I made this card component. I made this list component, importing this card component to here. So let's start from empty Framer project. And left part, there's panel called code. And in this part, you can make new components using new button. And I rename it as card. And when you make it, you can drag and drop the components. In the preview, there's animation from these codes. And because I don't want to use this animation yet, so I raise these parts and leave only one frame. And there's no animation now. And next, I'm gonna make layout for images and the texts using Stack. Stack is a powerful tool making some layout fast. And this is what you can do when you make a stack. Distribute the card elements with alignments, and you can change alignments using the other properties from stack. We're gonna using this gap property and make it gap 0, and there's no gap now. I'm gonna using this upper part as image section, and the bottom part is text section. I will add some background. This is CSS property. You can find the detailed things here. Frame. Make top background is green and bottom background is blue. And it changed. We should give some sizes to here. In making this size or width or height 100%, it means and background like pink. It follows its contours like this one. You can change width and height of these frames. Make as a default, width and height is at 200 pixels. If you don't add some properties about width and height, so it makes this static width and height. So I'm gonna give some width as 100%, height as 60%. And the below one, I'm gonna using height 40% because I wanted this two elements fit the edge of the contour. Now, when I moving these contours, green and blue frames follow these contours with stack. Yeah, that's quite nice. You can separate sections with the percentage that you want. In the next step, you can add some images and texts here. I'll add the images first. If you want to add some images, you should download some images from somewhere else you want to download. And I'm gonna using this one. And this one. And the important part of this one, you should add these images to your projects. Show project folder. When you open your project folder, there's a lot of files of your Framer project, and you can make your folder to put your images. So I will call it as images. You can change these names and put this image to here. In this code, you can add the images I put some moment before using URL from Framer resources. you can use this URL with background property. So I'm gonna add the other background and comment out this one in here, background with this syntax, URL plus URL images.a.png. But there's nothing happened because maybe the image is so big. If you made bigger of this contours, you can see the images. Because background property is from CSS property, you should define how this image going to as background. It doesn't center the line, and it could be repeated, so you should add kind of that things to here. I can check some MDN background. This is a site for how to use CSS properly, and we can use this part. Center, contain no repeat. Yep. This background image fit nicely to our elements. You can try this one, and it doesn't going elsewhere because I defined this background property as center of the line, and it should be contained the size that I want. It's not going to repeat itself. In bottom parts, you can add some texts now. Adding text is more easier than image. You can make a frame and add text to be able to. Yes, there's text is show up directly. It makes weird sky blue boxes at here because it's a frame. If you don't like this situation, you can add span instead of frame. It's basic HTML element. It removes the sky blue boxes. It's going to make the price at here. It's going to right after this name, and after you add this one, you can style fonts about some sizes or colors or kind of that other many things using CSS. You can add the CSS, this style, and you should add this two bracket because it should pass data using object syntax. You can add some color and font size. If you're using some VS Code or the other editors, you should use this auto-completion because it's very hard to avoid some misspelling. It's best way to avoid some annoying errors. I'll make this font bigger so I can add some font weight to here. Make this one with some black color codes. That's good. And we can add the same thing to this price text. And I wanted to make it smaller because I wanted to highlight this name first. Using the position element of CSS, you can change these positions. Make position this to absolute. And make it going to absolute position with left and top, bottom values. I'll make it going to bottom, and you can make it left going to 0 pixel. And it aligned the left tightly. So it's about magic of CSS. If you want to study more about CSS, you should check this website or the other many information on the internet. And now we can add some paddings to this stack. We want to make some gaps or spaces, borders, and the contents. Padding also is from CSS, but you can use it directly like this one. Yes, the content has equal padding on the top and left and right and bottom. We can add some radiuses and some box shadows. For the radius could be added directly. So I add this like this one. And we can add some box shadows, but you can use this one like the other properties. So you should wrap this one as a style. I can get this complicated syntax from box shadow shape generator. You can make this one using GI elements, and you can copy and paste this one. I'm satisfying this amount of a box shadow, so I'm gonna not changing this one. And I can remove some pink and blue backgrounds from here. Finally, you can add some background to remove this sky blue default background. Yes, now you made code components using some CSS property. But if you see these code components, it has the same image and same names. So you can change this one using props. If we add this default props and change this one to card, this component called card has this default property. So you can use this value at here. and hide this one and use props that text, and when you change this one, it changes. So you can use these props as for making many components but different properties that include name or pricing or some images, kind of that things. Okay, I need some price. Hide this one, and I can change this one, this property name as name. Change this one. Yes, the result is the same. My card. And you can add some image property as here. And get this one to here. Remove this one and make it props that image. It has same results. Now we made a reusable component. And I'm gonna making the other component called the list that importing this card components and reuse it. In this code panel, new, and make a list, remove the other things that I'm not going to using. And first, I'm gonna make layout first using stack and add some frames like this one. It's good, but it should be added the other properties to stack, and I'll make it gap as 0. It aligned in the center. I'll make this distribution property as center, and it's gonna like this center aligned. And then it also it doesn't has a width and height, so you can add some width and height value as add some thing like this one. Yes, the stack is following the contours now. The last thing that I have to do in this project is import this card. It's not hard one because we've seen this kind of codes at many other files. This done means you can find the other files in this level. So you can use this /. If you want to find the file that has the same level of this, you can make the other /. If some files under the other directory, the other level, or you can use this dot syntax to find the file that has the upper level. If file is over here, you can use dot syntax to find the file. I am putting this card. Don't forget this bracket. And change this one like this. Yeah, it makes beautiful card alignments, and I can give a gap a little bit, and I can remove this pink one. But this image is the same, so it has no meaning that I reused component. I wanted to make some different property of this. If you want to do that, the way is simple. You already do the same thing at this stack component. To make property for these components, you can add the same name at here, like this one, b bottle, and it changed this property like this. And you can add some price property to here. It got $2, but the other things is the same with default props. Finally, you can add some image, and this image b.png. Yeah, that's cool. Make it like this one and copy and paste to the other properties, and this price is $5. Yes, it changed. We're using the c.png. Make this price gonna more expensive. Recap. Yes, I added properties on these card components that I made before. Like this code, so you can use it, these card components whenever or wherever on every JavaScript platform. It's gonna duplicate it with the same styles but different property. Yep, that's all for this code components page. We made a product card, duplicated card components that had different properties. Yep, thanks and bye.